Real quick before we get started, I am not a doctor and I don't play one on the internet, but I know a lot of stuff and I have a lot of experience and I like helping women like you with this stuff. I'm Denise Wellick-Peterson, like I said, leader of the Menopause Project, creator of the Use Your Cycle Method, and host of Meno Minis. I have been a certified personal trainer for 19 years and a hormone specialist for 7. I became a hormone specialist because there was a day back in my mid-late 30s when my twin daughters were teens and I was starting to have some hormonal disruption. Business was stressful. My husband and I were still kind of newlyweds at the time and just stuff with co-parenting. Stressful, right? And one night my husband and I were getting ready for bed. We were, popping our contacts out. We were laughing hysterically, joking around. And then just suddenly I was just bawling, sobbing, ugly, snot flying, no reason at all whatsoever. And my husband just standing there going, "What did I say? I'm so sorry. What happened?" The next morning we just kind of looked at each other and I was like, I'm not an emotional outbreak kind of person. No idea what had happened. And then I started thinking about some weird comments some clients had been saying to me, and like a light bulb was like, oh my God, I think I'm in menopause. Now, after becoming certified and learning a lot of stuff about hormones, I realized I was not in menopause. Menopause is 12 period-free months. I was in perimenopause though, and I was like, it shouldn't be this bad. So after I became certified, I started working with women in the gym with what I was knowing. They started sleeping again. They started dreaming again. Their butt were lifting, and the sparks started flying with their husband from just a portion of what I know now. And so in my years in hormone specialty, women have come to me for lots and lots of reasons. The 3 biggest reasons being weight loss, because it suddenly piles on. And I don't mean like, oh, it creeped up 10 pounds this year. I mean like 20 pounds in the last 2 months, right? It will happen. Sleep. They're not sleeping worth a darn. And their libido. But they don't always like to lead with that, right? People don't like to admit that their libido maybe is tanking, right? So today we are going to talk about date nights that don't disappoint. Because half the fun of libido is libidoing. Yeah, it's a new word. I made it up. So originally when I planned this webinar, I was thinking mainly of using your cycle and when to plan what, hot nights in a hotel versus hot nights with a good book. And I will. But, as ladies started messaging me, I found out just a little bit more. You are not disappointed with date nights because y'all aren't going on dates. Call it busyness, call it kids, call it COVID. Say we're old. Say we're married now. Ladies, this is BS. This is excuses. So I want to start out today by having you think back to when you first started dating. Picture it. Is it Italy? 1922. Picture it. Small town USA. Right? Picture it. Okay. Think about it. Did you spontaneously go out frequently? Like he showed up at the door and said, hey, let's go. Everybody's in town. Pop a yes or a no in the comments. Now, this wasn't my experience. My parents wouldn't have let me out of the house very often with somebody just showing up. They kept saying, you deserve more respect than that. You deserve a phone call. Maybe once or twice he might have just popped up, but more often there was a call. There was a note passed in class. There was a hey, Friday night, you want to go out to a movie and burgers? Hey, the rodeo's in a couple weeks. You want to go with me? Prom. Right? And then there was that planning what to wear, that wondering what he was going to wear. Will he kiss me goodnight in the car or at the door? And all of that thinking raised anticipation, excitement, curiosity, and arousal. And then we got married. And lots of things changed around sex and dating. when was the last time you shaved your legs for a night out? Dare you to put that in the comments. When was the last time you planned not only what dress you were going to wear, because I know you're still wearing dresses for your honey, but your undergarments too? When was the last time you had sex in the back seat? To be fair, the back seat of a Super Crew truck is Super Crew cab truck thing, that's got like a yoga studio in the back seat. Way better. But little cars, whatever. When was the last time? Somewhere along the line, thoughts about dates and sex changed. They have to be spontaneous. They'll happen when we have time. We're always together. We'll just decide one day. You quit shaving and primping. You quit dressing up for one another. The mystery's gone. Or, gasp, you actually started trying to avoid one another. Maybe it started out with a real headache or a really long week at work. And maybe he subtly suggested and you swatted him away one night because you were busy doing the dishes. Or, you might have subtly suggested and he swatted you away. But ladies, half of this lost libido thing is lack of practice and hurt feelings. Yeah, I'll get to the hormone part. It's not all hormones on the downswing though. I can help with the hormones on the downswing. I cannot walk you through the years of hurt feelings that need to be addressed. Okay? Those things that start at breakfast with hurt feelings, and then a text that gets misinterpreted, and then after supper some superficial apology and lackluster makeup sex. You got to address it and you got to forgive it. You leave that stuff standing between you and the libido is never going to pick up, no matter how many of my tips you take. And yes, use it or lose it applies to libido too. It's not just, mathematical tables. Use it or lose it, at least for the moving parts, right? Your vagina, it's a muscle. Quitting with the O's makes the next one and the next one and the next one less spectacular. You got to practice it. Same goes for dryness. The less the physiology practices getting wet, the less you're going to get wet. And yes, hormones play into it too. Now, if you follow me on social media, you know I've been talking about my jade egg practice the last few months and how much that has affected my vagina strength and my lubrication. And I would love for you to look into it. It's amazing, okay? But quit using this stuff as an excuse. There are 80-year-olds that still have sex. You gotta want it enough to do something differently. Like eating to support your hormones. Like exercising to support your hormones. Like reducing stress to support your hormones. That's what I'm here for. To be fair, the older we get, you may need some HRT, but at 40 or 50, you can support what you have through lifestyle tweaks. And in fact, I was just looking something up for someone else that I was talking to today and was reminded that, you know what? If you can get these lifestyle tweaks down, if you ever need to go on HRT, you will not need to go on as big a dose and you will not need to be on it as long. And by having smaller doses and a smaller amount of time on it, you will reduce the side effects of HRT, like stroke, blood clots, dementia. Okay? So there's some real reasons you might want to avoid HRT. Now, I've talked about the tweaks to your food and to your exercise in past webinars. They're on this page, they're on my YouTube channel, but there's the how and when to exercise, how, when, and what to eat, stress reduction, and improving sleep. They're all done in the last few months. So take a scroll back, find them. I talk about it on my podcast. I talk about it on YouTube. But super duper briefly, workouts should be short and intense. Eat your protein and your vegetables. Reduce your stress. Those are the three biggies. So much more to it, but those are the three biggies. Start there. And now I'm going to focus on date nights and sex and when to lean in and when to go to book club. love my book club. But there's a time and a place for it, right? Because yes, there is a time in your hormone cycle, and you still have hormone cycles post-menopause. There's a time to lean into the kitchen quickie, and there's a time to plan that 3-hour sex date. Let's start with a little hormones 101. The name of the game for hormones is survival of the species. Hormones are a 10,000-year-old system. Survival of the species, not when do we feel like it. Okay? So survival of the species, have that in the back of your brain. The first 2 weeks of your cycle, that's from when your period starts, are clear to your body. There's no baby. There's no baby. So it starts cranking up the estrogen, making you extra symmetrical, extra beautiful, extra flirty, extra attractive, so you can attract a mate when you are ovulating for survival of the species, right? And then as we get closer to ovulation, so into the second week of your cycle, your testosterone starts to increase, and that is responsible for feeling it, frisky time, right? We need to be frisky around the time of ovulation, because you know you can get pregnant about 6 days before and 3 days after ovulation, right? So testosterone is on the rise, so that when ovulation happens, egg is dropped, there might be some chance of survival of the species, right? After about 3 days after ovulation, then your testosterone and your estrogen start to tank, right? They dissipate a little bit, just in case you could still, catch an egg there. And then in week 4, there's the acceptance that there is no baby in the work. Dismantle the nest and get ready to repeat the cycle again, right? So there's your hormones 101. Now on to the dating cycle. Knowing that once your period is done, your estrogen and your testosterone are on the rise. Okay, so now we know this. Survival of the species, remember. Week 1, a great date would be a sort of active date as your energy is starting to increase with your estrogen. Something like an easy walk in the park, not climb a mountain, but an easy walk in the park, or some slow dancing, nothing too aggressive. Those are the perfect prelude to a night of trying new positions and getting a little bit experimental, maybe even some lingerie, right? This is because of where the estrogen is sitting. Your brain wants to learn new things, right? So this is based on a lot of things going on. As the testosterone really starts to increase in week 2, because we're getting close to ovulation, survival of the species, a great day might be to climb a mountain or to go salsa dancing, something really active. And then, while you are particularly flirty this week, it's a thing. It's a thing. You are more prone to flirting here this week before ovulation. You will find that you have little patience for foreplay. You are burning with desire, and that kitchen quickie before you went out is just a prelude to a ridiculously hot night in the back seat with the toys, having fun over and over and over again. Over and over again. Might be a good time for a 3-hour sex date. As ovulation passes and then estrogen and testosterone start to tank, progesterone starts to increase, right? But it's not like, right? It's like, right? So a fun week 3 date might be catching a show or a movie, or going to paint night where you can flirt, you can hold hands, you can cuddle. Lots of foreplay will be in order for an amazing later. Okay? And then as we head into week 4, estrogen and testosterone have bottomed out, and even progesterone is starting to bottom out. This is a good week to keep expectations super duper low. Keep them low. Cuddling maybe, making out by the fire, a back rub with 0 expectations, or a good week for him to go out with the guys, leaving you to chill with your book, or go to book club. And repeat. And the cycle starts again, right? So now, as you are planning your next night out, and you are in the thick of week 2 right now, and you're like, oh my God, we need to have a date, honey. Okay, 2 weeks from now is a really great for our schedule. Stop. Think about it. If you're in the depths of week 2 and planning something for 2 weeks later, that's week 4. That's week 4 where you just want to send him out for poker night, right? Push those plans to the next week 2. Yeah, it's a month out, but you know what? Anticipation is good for everything, right? Unless, of course, your plan is to visit the spa at that hotel while he catches the big game, and then you're both up for a full night of sleep. I mean, if that's what you're looking for on a week 4 date at a hotel, just so you know what you're getting into. If you've got any comments, be sure to drop them in the comments right now. Any comments, any questions, I'm going to answer whatever we got going on. While you're doing that, if you are ready to do some go deep into supporting your hormones in a way that involves super small tweaks to your lifestyle, no full overhauls, a shift in your menu, not a whole new menu, effective short workouts to keep you strong and sexy, not just spinning your wheels on the treadmill, working with your hormones to lose weight. That didn't stop you guys, did it? I don't think so. Working with your hormones to lose weight almost effortlessly, sleep deeply, and enjoy sex in all its varieties in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, and beyond. That's the Use Your Cycle method. No more one size fits all, no more endless hours of exercise with no result, no more fancy foods in tiny containers. It's time to use the gift that we were given as women, our 28-day cycle. Our cycle is not unpredictable and something that must be tamed. Our cycle is not the same as men's and must be listened to like men's. Our cycle is our superpower. And if you're ready to learn how it works, I have 3 spots for February to get started on the Use Your Cycle method. If you want to discuss the details and see how it fits into your lifestyle, yes, even post-menopause, especially post-menopause, send me a message. We can see if this is going to be a good fit for you or not. Reach out to me by the end of the week and get a bonus month of support when you decide to invest in the Use Your Cycle method. Last call for questions. Yep, okay, I do have it on the right screen. Quick reminder, if you are new to this information, check out my YouTube channel, Menopause Meals and Movement. And my podcast is called Meno Minis. You can find it on Apple or Spotify. It's released every Tuesday and Thursday, and I talk about tons and tons of stuff. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, I'm around. If you think of something later, I will circle back. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great afternoon.